a name that, until recently, lived quietly in the shadows of French football academies. But talent, real God-written talent, never stays hidden forever. There are players who rise through hype, and then there are those who rise through destiny. Mamadou Sarr belongs to the second category. His story doesn't begin in flashing stadium lights, nor viral TikTok clips or Golden Boy interviews. It begins in the humblest corners of Lyon, with a dream larger than the streets that raised him. And just like the legends who shaped the sport before him, Thierry in the Paris banlieue, Pogba in Roissy-en-Brie, Mbappé in Bondy, Sarr carried that same raw hunger. A young defender with calm feet, silent power, and an instinct for the game that feels inherited from the heavens. Not everyone spotted it at first. Football rarely applauds potential too early. But those who watched him train, who saw him close spaces before forwards even breathed, who saw him win aerial duels like gravity owed him loyalty, they knew. The boy was different. He was built for greatness. From Lyon's academy grounds, where chilly mornings met quiet footwork drills and dreams whispered louder than coaches' whistles, to competitive youth matches where every touch could be a future headline, Sarr sharpened his identity. Defending wasn't a job to him. It was art. Every step measured, every challenge timed, every decision precise. There is elegance in a player who doesn't fight chaos, but dissolves it. Sarr wasn't just stopping attackers. He was rewriting the physics of the moment. And while the world slept, he worked. Mornings in the gym, evenings with recovery bands, nights watching center-back masters, Van Dijk, Sergio Ramos, Thiago Silva, Kalidou Koulibaly. He didn't copy them. He studied their essence, leadership, patience, ferocity, the balance between warrior and architect. Football at the highest level demands more than strength. It demands maturity before age, discipline before fame, and resilience before applause. Most young prospects chase followers. Sarr chased progress. Most get distracted by attention. Sarr embraced silence. He moved through France's youth system like a quiet storm, seen but not fully understood until the moment he arrived on the international stage. France, U19. France, U20. Blue jersey pressed against his chest like armor. Pressure? For some, pressure breaks. For him, pressure sculpted. It turned the promise into presence. Shots blocked. Lines held. Calmness radiated. Scouts stopped whispering and started circling. This wasn't just another academy graduate. This was a future pillar. And with that rise came the life shift that young stars dream of. Training grounds upgraded, lifestyle matured. The clothes changed, fitted designer streetwear, subtle yet confident. The watches, classic, understated pieces that signal ambition without shouting it. A clean-cut style, razor-sharp fade, tailored tracksuits, polished sneakers. A young king who understands that luxury isn't about noise, it's about presence. Off the pitch, life blessed him with quiet comfort. Modest beginnings transforming into modern apartments with panoramic city views. Stainless steel kitchens, warm interior lights, carefully curated furniture, space to breathe, space to heal, space to dream. And when the night settles over Lyon and the city lights flicker like constellations below his balcony, Sarr often stands there in silence, not admiring luxury but absorbing responsibility, because every soft couch and private elevator ride is earned, not inherited. His circle remains small. Family first. Friends who knew him before the spotlight. No overnight entourages, no artificial hype squad. Just loyalty. He carries the humility of a boy raised by discipline and the pride of a man built by ambition. Senegalese heritage beats in his heart like drums of legacy. France sharpened his talent. His roots fed his soul. One day, two nations may call for him, but whichever crest he chooses, he will wear it with honor. Training days now look different. Elite physios, nutrition plans dialed tighter than a surgeon's focus, tailored recovery chambers, cryotherapy sessions. His meals? Engineered, lean proteins, performance vegetables, hydration protocols, precise carb timing. He doesn't eat for taste, he eats for performance. No flashy club nights, no reckless scandals, great defenders, no, discipline wins games long before kickoff. And the love life? Quiet, private, respectful. The world hasn't seen much. Not because it isn't there, but because he protects what matters. Some things are too sacred for hashtags. When he walks into a restaurant, glass windows, dim gold lighting, leather seats, menus scripted in cursive, eyes follow. Not because he flaunts luxury, but because success moves differently when it's earned honestly. Yet beneath this rising star image lies a kid who still remembers dirt pitches, secondhand boots, and waking up before dawn. He remembers running drills on cold concrete, headphones blasting dreams into cold air. He remembers telling himself, one day they'll know my name, and today they do. But here's the truth no one says out loud. Sarr has not arrived. He has only begun. Because the story of Mamadou Sarr isn't built on early fame, it is built on inevitability. He is the defender every future striker will dread. The quiet force who will turn pressure into leadership, potential into legacy. A boy turning into a man, and a player turning into a pillar. Football isn't waiting for him to catch up. Football is bracing for him to take over. And as the world starts to watch, as scouts lean forward and cameras slowly turn, one thing becomes clear. Mamadou Sarr isn't chasing the spotlight. The spotlight is learning to chase him. They say that true greatness rarely announces itself. It gathers. It develops in silence like a storm forming beyond the horizon. Dark, powerful, inevitable. And Mamadou Sarr embodies that silence. Not the empty kind, but the purposeful one. The silence of someone who is building something the world will one day stand in awe of. Football today is loud. Loud opinions, loud celebrations, loud controversies. But Sarr? His presence cuts through that noise. He doesn't need antics to command a pitch. His football speaks with authority. Calm under pressure, composed in chaos. A defender who moves not with desperation but with calculation. His touch is confident, his stride poised, his body language unshaken. That ability to remain unbothered, that's rare. It can't be taught. It's carved into your character. A center-back who plays like time bends in his favor. He sees things before they materialize. Opponents rush. He waits. Strikers panic. He doesn't blink. He carries the aura of a player who isn't just trying to survive at the top. He intends to live there comfortably. And now the football world is starting to whisper. Clubs analyzing his tape, agents circling like hawks, scouts tracing his steps from youth training grounds to stadium sidelines, social media pages posting highlights, aerial dominance, last man tackles, confident ball carries, line-breaking passes. The narrative is forming. This kid isn't normal. But success has phases, and Sarr is in the phase where discipline matters more than applause. Many young players lose themselves here, when praise first brushes their shoulders, that moment when comfort tries to creep in. But Sarr isn't built for softness. His roots are too real, his journey too grounded. Hunger still wakes him up early. Ambition still whispers louder than sleep. With success comes evolution. The boy who used to travel to training with worn boots now steps into a sleek car, quiet engine, leather interior, digital dashboard glowing like something from a dream. Not a flashy sports car yet, no need, but a refined, intelligent machine that mirrors him. Style without noise, purpose without vanity. His wardrobe has grown too. Tailored jackets, minimalist designer shirts, premium tracksuits, subtle jewelry, no screaming logos, just quiet luxury, the type that people with real taste recognize instantly. His apartment? High floor, modern, secure. Floor-to-ceiling glass where city lights wash the room like stars fallen to earth. A living room with neutral tones and soft lighting. A kitchen built for a nutritionist's precision. Measured portions, balanced plates, fresh ingredients. He eats like a professional, trains like a world-class athlete in waiting, rests like someone who understands recovery is a form of discipline too. In the evenings, he unwinds with purpose. Tactical match replays, recovery boots, meditation, quiet music. Not the chaotic, self-destructive nightlife path many young prospects fall into. His circle doesn't drag him toward fame, they anchor him to reality. He hasn't forgotten who believed in him before the world noticed. Watch elite defenders today. Van Dijk moves like a commander, Rudiger like a warrior, Saliba like a strategist. Sarr? He is carving his archetype, balanced, intelligent, methodical. A defender who treats the game like a puzzle, not a fight. At academy level, coaches noted something rare. He doesn't just react, he predicts. When a striker shifts weight to his stronger foot, Sarr already adjusts. When midfield lines open for transitions, he steps to intercept before danger breathes life. When teammates lose composure, he becomes the anchor. Young leaders are not born loud. They are born steady. Beneath the humility, beneath the respectful nods and quiet confidence, there is steel, fire disguised as calm water. A future captain's mentality, even if no armband rests on his arm yet. Sarr walks with two nations in his chest, France and Senegal. His pride is twofold. He understands the blessing of opportunity in Europe, and he feels the heartbeat of ancestral strength behind him. You see it in his gratitude. You feel it in his discipline. Football may be his profession, but identity fuels his hunger. Family remains his compass. He still visits home, not for applause, but for grounding. His parents' guidance, the hugs from younger cousins who look up to him, the smell of home-cooked meals, laughter filling small rooms. That's where he refuels. Fame doesn't impress someone who knows the value of humble beginnings, and somewhere in his heart sits a promise, one he made silently long before academy contracts or professional whispers. A promise to honor his family, to uplift them, to prove that their sacrifices were seeds, not losses. The next chapter is coming. The phone calls will grow louder. Headlines will multiply. Transfer whispers will evolve into negotiations. France or Senegal, the world waits for his decision, but he doesn't rush. Stars don't chase opportunity. They allow opportunity to arrive prepared. Sports psychologists, elite physical trainers, trusted agents, nutritionists, hydrotherapy tanks, cryo chambers, massage guns, ice baths, tactical analysts. Everything is aligning, not for hype, but for longevity. Longevity is what separates memorable players from legends, and though the spotlight is approaching, Sarr remains disciplined, hungry, focused. He knows a career is not made in moments, it's made in habits. He isn't just building his career, he's building his empire brick by brick, minute by minute, training session by training session. Soon, Europe's biggest stadiums will echo his name. Soon, the brightest spotlight in football, Champions League nights, will shine across his boots as he steps out not as a kid with potential, but as a man with purpose. And when the world finally sees him fully, it will not be a surprise. It will feel like destiny fulfilled. There comes a moment in every rising athlete's journey when belief turns into certainty. When the quiet kid who stayed late after training, who chased perfection while others chased applause, begins to take shape as the future everyone whispered about. For Mamadou Sarr, that moment isn't coming. It is here. He steps onto training pitches with a presence now. Not loud, not boastful, but grounded, collected, powerful. Those who train with him notice the evolution, the added sharpness in his reactions, the slight increase in muscle density across his shoulders, the way he reads passing lanes a heartbeat faster than before. His focus is an desperation. It's destiny tightening around him like armor being fitted to a future king. Every rep counts. Every meal is measured. Every hour of sleep guarded. Every match watched, not as entertainment, but as study material. The great ones don't prepare to be good, they prepare to be unavoidable. And the world is beginning to lean forward. Rumors circulate in football corridors, elite clubs tracking him, analysts projecting roles he could fill in tactical systems built for trophies. Some speak of him as a future anchor in Europe's fiercest backlines. Others see in him the calm dominance required to organize a defense at the highest level. Youth international fans already name him in breathless tweets. He's next, they can feel it. You can't hide greatness, it radiates, even quietly. But Sarr does not accelerate because people expect it. He accelerates because he is built that way. His mindset is quietly brutal. He knows talent opens doors, but obsession keeps them open. And obsession lives in him quietly, like fire behind steel. With ascension comes lifestyle. Today his routines reflect precision, not indulgence. His mornings begin before dawn, when the world is still soft and silent. The first light breaks across his apartment windows as he steps onto his balcony, breathing in cold air with gratitude and resolve. The silence of the city reminds him where he came from and how far he intends to go. Inside, a training space sits neatly arranged. Resistance bands, kettlebells, recovery rollers, hydration station, a mat for mobility drills. Minimalistic, clean, intentional, a personal sanctuary of growth. The wardrobe tells a similar story. Tailored jackets, sleek tracksuits in deep tones, structured coats, subtle designer branding. A man being groomed not just for sport, but for legacy. His sneakers pristine, his accessories understated, elegance in simplicity. The confidence of someone who does not need to announce success, he embodies it. And yes, the blessings continue to show. The car now? Sleeker. Better horsepower, crafted interiors, technology that feels almost alive. It glides, low and silent, like a promise whispered across asphalt. But you won't find him revving engines for cameras or parading luxury on social feeds. Real wealth is quiet. Real class does not shout. Behind closed doors, he invests, not in ego but in future. Trusted advisors, strategic financial planning, long-term vision. While many young stars chase flash and burn out early, Sarr builds structures meant to last a lifetime. He understands that fame is a wave, but legacy is a foundation. Strip away the stadium lights, the professionally curated meals, the immaculate apartment, and you find the core. A young man, still anchored by love. Family remains the pulse beneath his success. He calls home not to talk about football, but to hear voices that shaped him, to laugh in familiar tones, to remember simplicity. He keeps pictures on his wall, childhood moments, proud smiles, community memories. These are not decorations. They are compass points. They remind him why he wakes up with discipline instead of entitlement. Love? If there is someone, the world doesn't know, because he guards private life like treasure. A future star who understands that real intimacy thrives away from screens. If a heart beats beside his, it beats in peace, not performance. That alone separates him from the generation bred on attention, and his heritage stays sacred. Senegal's heartbeat, France's pathways, two worlds converging in one destiny, dual pride, dual blessing. He may choose a national team in time, but it will never be a rejection, only a direction. Whatever crest he wears, he will elevate it. His story isn't just sport, it's culture, faith, family, discipline, and grace woven together like fabric of purpose. Fast forward. Picture Champions League nights under blinding lights. Tunnel tension. Anthem rising like thunder through the chest. Cameras panning across players with chiseled jawlines and sharpened ambition. And in that line stands Mamadou Sarr. Shoulders square, jaw set, eyes calm. A leader without needing to lift his voice. He doesn't look around in awe. He looks forward, as if this is where he always knew he would stand. Fans chant. Children point. Analysts praise, opponents strategize, and coaches trust him not as potential, but as foundation. He becomes the defender you build around, not the one you rotate. He becomes the player whose calm inspires teammates and terrifies forwards. And off the pitch? He grows into a name recognized in quiet luxury circles, admired for his discipline, respected for his humility. His charity work sits off-camera, not publicized but lived, helping youth back home, building opportunities, planting seeds in soil that once fed him. He becomes a role model without performing for the title. Imagine him years into his career. A penthouse skyline stretching before him, city lights dancing like constellations, trophy cabinet heavy behind him, boots from historic matches displayed like relics. On the wall, framed jerseys, not just symbols of glory, but chapters of a life earned through relentless preparation. He stands by the window, calm, fulfilled, not surprised. Destiny isn't surprising. It's achieved. And in that still moment with the city glowing beneath his feet, he whispers to himself the truth that carried him all along. I didn't come from nothing. I came from somewhere humble, and I honored it. No shortcuts, no scandals, no lost years to temptation, just discipline, faith, hunger, growth, a boy who became a man, a prospect who became a pillar, a whisper who became a roar, a light who rose from quiet corners to global stages, not by force, but by destiny. Mamadou Sarr. Remember the name before the world has no choice.